All right. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
We're the Brothers of Great Millstone, Charlotte, coming at you again through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And before we get started with this lesson, we'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who taught us the truth and the well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you, we say shalom.
Shalom.
So in this video, we're pretty much going to be touching on, news and prophecy, going into a couple articles, mainly on this economy, and the job scarcity that we're seeing, especially in these last days of America, man. These are signs and symptoms of a declined empire, right? And just as Rome had its symptoms, had its, signs of falling, we're seeing the same thing with America and even previous, empires at that. And the fact that we're reaching on the 250th year of America's, since America's inception, we know that we're getting close to that end point, man. I mean, and the signs are there, but we're here to bring it out, and Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson to the Rakak Padash. But Baba Kushai, if a brother can read that article for me, Baba Kushai.
This is an article from fortune.com posted November 13th, 2025. It reads, economist behind K-shaped economy sees a sea of despair for the bottom 90% and a crisis of confidence in the American dream.
Mm-hmm. So when you go into that K-shaped economy, Baba Kushai, I was wondering if you could open up a different tab and just look up an image of the K-shape.
Yep,
yeah,
a lot of. And the bar.
Yeah, you're already on it.
Yes, sir.
Let
me see if I can get a better image to put in the screen.
Okay,
Unless this is fine for you, like you can see it.
I mean, we can kind of explain what's going on right here in this graph.
Okay.
When you're seeing that graph right there, that shows pretty much the economy, I guess you could say. And then you see the steep decline. I believe that was during the COVID or the C demic time period.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see another rise. But when you look at the blue, what's that? That's like white collar jobs, pretty much people that's like middle class or high up there. When you look at the bottom line, the orange line, that's really, all the what do you call it? Pretty much like blue collar
industry, blue collar work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you could say grunt work, really.
Grunt work, right? Customer service, cashiers, all that, warehouse workers, but
yeah.
That's pretty much the state of things is going. But you see the gap, the gap is bridging more and more, like it's getting more and more wider to where really all you're going to start seeing is just the like they say in the world, the have and the have nots, man. You know what I'm saying? Things is getting very, very scarce. And as we're going to go into further in this article or in this article, but also in this lesson, you're going to notice that things is really getting to the point where the bottom portion of society, the low class, is really going to start crashing out because of the limitations that they pretty much are limited to. You know what I'm saying? As far as jobs, as far as money, pockets hurting and everything. So we're going to start seeing really prophecy really start taking hold of these people, man. So we can really go back to the article. Unless y'all brothers have something to say.
Yeah, I had something right fast. Like you guys said, we're going to start to see people crashing out. People are already, as the header of the article, or pardon me, not the header, but the article's title, the crisis of confidence, the crisis of faith in the American dream. People are not really certain of where they see themselves in the future in the next 10 to 20 years. Of course, we know we're not going to be here that long, but these people's vision is set within the parameters of this kingdom, so they don't know what the fuck is going on, right? This is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, which we see happening, right? in the heavens, right? And
Mm-hmm.
upon the earth distress of nation, with perplexity the sea and waves roaring. And as we often go into this word for perplexity, right? Strong's G640, going into the root, it says the state of one who is in perplexity. The root, Strong's G639, it says to be without resources, to be in straits be in a position of difficulty, to be left wanting, not having access to your necessities and needs, right? Pardon me, your necessities and wants, to be
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed, to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, to be at loss with oneself, not to know how to decide or what to do, be at loss mentally, right? So these people, like you have made mention of, entering into 2026, the end of this year, this last quarter, people are going to be increasing their, you know, inability to understand how to maneuver because people are strapped. They don't really have an opportunity to go out into another job, right? Because the job market, as the reports are showing, there's less jobs available than there are people that are unemployed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a real tight window for people to operate in, and they're not going to be able to keep up with this forever.
Right, right. And I want to add to your point you made how pretty much people are in this mindset of looking forward to the future of this system, like looking ahead, like yo, where we're going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You know, people have goals, aspirations to look up to. But as you said, pretty much the whole belief in the American dream, all that shit is dying, man. It really is dead. You know, when you look at the new generation, they don't have no hope in, you know, the future. They don't have no hope in America. You know, a lot of these, Jakes, they're really resorting to really just the lower class period is resorting to, you know, going out, robbing, stealing, scamming, you know, just really get rich, quick money schemes because they don't see no hope in a 9 to 5. They don't see uh, uh, no I guess say no reward at the end for being a so-called good citizen, in America,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So things are really getting closer, as the scripture says, the love of many shall wax cold. Things is really going, the world is getting more and more colder, man. Like people are really just out for themselves, and really especially since the fact that, as the scripture says, as the ruler of the people is, so like as the ruler is, so is the people. We're seeing Esau tapping into this desperate, panic type of mindset on trying to retain what he has. We're seeing the same thing with these people. So they're going to try to retain what they have, but with the economy the way it's headed, the Most High has already determined this place is going to fall. So all these people are going to fall along with it, right? And we're seeing that fall happening right now, but it's starting right now with their minds. Fear is setting into their brain, letting them know that, hey, we ain't gonna be here much longer, man. So they're gonna have to try to resort to something different. But I wanted to get this real quick. Let me see where's it at. Right here. Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to them that have it. So as it says, money's a defense. So yeah, money was right now in this economy, or in Esau's world. Um, Most people view money as being that the end all be all, right? The to get you up in life, to get you a nice house, to get you everything you need. They don't really regard wisdom, the poor man's wisdom, as the scripture says, which is our wisdom. They see us as being this poor, defeated people, but really we're rich in the spirit, man, right?
Mhm.
But they don't see that as being valuable. But soon, once all this money, all this whole economy crashes and the whole money system is closed up, no jobs, nothing, everything is bone dry. Hey, we're gonna start seeing the gradual, the fact that these people who denied true wisdom, they're gonna start repenting of that fact that they denied it. But right now, we're seeing that fall, man. People's stability and people's defense is down, man. Right. So like I mentioned, this is all going to lead people to that crash out mindset.
All right. I got one for you real quick.
God.
So Job 18 and verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. Right. So as the brother may mention, as the king, so are the subjects, man. Right. And we see Esau, right? He's in the mindset of, having his back against the wall. So how much more the people who are underneath him, man? Right.
Right.
So instead, their confidence is being rooted out. The faith that they've established, right? The trust that they've established in this system is being uprooted, bit by bit, man. And we see them doing it through things like the government shutdown, through things like the rationing, pretty much, of these food stamps, things of that nature, man. Right, allowing certain people to have access and certain people to not have access, man. Right, all these things is their faith and confidence being uprooted out of their tabernacles, man, their places of dwelling.
Mm-hmm. Con. Brothers, have anything else? We can go back to the article.
Con. This is back in the Fortune article. It says Peter Atwater, adjunct professor of economics at William and Mary and president of Financial Insights, knows a thing or two about the K-shaped economy. It says anonymous Twitter user introduced the idea of the K recovering following the demic, a gloomy outlook where some elements of life before CVID would recover while some would not. Atwater popularized it. Jumping down, it says Atwater credits Ivan the K for the coining of the term, but said he was the first to run with it, publishing a series of pieces in 2020 about the growing gap between the haves and have-nots. White-collar employees could work remotely while blue-collar workers were outside the work-from-home bubble. While the tech industry more quickly recovered, the demic pummeled lower-income workers, such as service workers, who were either laid off or deemed essential, leaving them stuck in their jobs. Today, the term K-shaped economy has been on the lips of many economists, as mounting data illustrates a growing divide between the spending and wages of higher and lower income Americans, resembling the two diverging lines of the letter K. But as the self-proclaimed popularizer of the term, Atwater said experts have overlooked one key factor when talking about these parting fortunes that could result in seismic consequences. Reads, they're missing the feelings aspect about it. They're missing what motivates us to act. And to act isn't the economy, but our feelings about the economy. What we have today is a small group of individuals who feel intense certainty paired with relentless power control, and on the other, it's a sea of despair. And that's the piece that never gets talked about.
Mm-hmm. I want to make mention real quick of that disparity, because it says the sea of despair. Now, Esau operates with, because one thing I wanted to make mention real quick is that Esau operates on lies. He operates off deception. So the way for him to be able to have a society that he can manipulate is to have people in a state of fear, a state of despair. You know what I'm saying? When you look it up, fear, when fear enters your heart, or your mind, I should say, and you're embodied by it, pretty much it overtakes you. You're pretty much susceptible for bad judgment. You're susceptible to for reckless behavior, and really to be manipulated by any slight of form of hope. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Esau wants. Because ultimately we understand that Esau is trying to get everybody to accept the MOTB.
Right.
That's the end goal, to get everybody enslaved in this digital system. So by him bringing out all these different types of forms of despair, and getting people worried about the future and all this and that, is all inevitably what's it called, order out of chaos. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing in the chaos, but then just to bring in the order, which that form of which MOTB is going to be a form of salvation and a solution to all these problems. Well, at least that's how Esau's going to present it.
All
right.
Can I get a real quick reset for you, bro?
Yeah, Con, you got it.
This is John 10:10. It reads, "The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy."
And that's exactly what Esau's doing, right? That's his goal, man. The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy, right? Esau's a thief. Everything he got it through rape, robbery, or murder, man. Everything he got it through unjust means, right? And for him to continue to take more from the earth, he's gonna have to kill, steal, and destroy. But you got it out.
Let me see something right quick. I'm gonna see if there was anything here for a thief. Continuing on, it reads, "I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly."
Right. Talking about this truth. Yahweh Shem Shah, right? This truth is what gives us that hope, right? Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge be the stability of thy times, and strength and salvation. The fear of Yahweh Shem Shah is his treasure. So we have that. Since we have this truth, this news of the economy and the way America is falling, it gives us hope, man. Like it doesn't shake us up. We ain't worried about this shit. We're ready for this bitch to go. But we're seeing that this is affecting a lot of the populace that especially our people that don't have the eyesight, that don't have this wisdom. All they see is the future of America. They can't envision nothing else besides that. Right? So that's why that despair is setting in. But you got it, Doc.
Yeah, as the scriptures say, where there is no vision, the people perish. We're seeing the minds of the people literally just melt with fear of the unknown. It's like, nah, we are privy to what these people would consider the unknown. We have, like you made mention of, the eyesight, the spiritual insight and foresight to see what's about to come down the pipeline.
That's right. That's right. Right. And that's one thing too, the fear of the unknown. I want to read this real quick since you mentioned that. It says, fear of the unknown, also known as xenophobia, is the anxiety caused by unpredictable situations or a lack of information. But the scriptures talk about that our people are willingly ignorant, man. So you being willfully ignorant, or that ignorance is bliss type of spirit, is going to lead you to an anxiety or a type of fear that you are going to pretty much there's going to be no solution for it, man, because we're coming to a time where the truth is going to be shunned. The prophets are going to be taken out the corners, going to be taken off YouTube. All this information is going to be gone. So what are you going to do when that time comes and all this fear starts setting in, and then reality starts to hit you that, we're fucking coming to the end, right? So that fear is really going to start taking a hold of these people, man, in a very bad way.
Yeah.
But it says, I want to finish this out. It says it can also refer to a fear of anything unfamiliar or strange. Some say it's the one fear to rule them all. Hey, and that's what Esau wants, man. Like I mentioned, he uses fear as a tactic for control. Brother, had anything?
He's a fearmonger.
Right, fearmonger. That's all he pushes in his news outlets, right? That's the reason why Jake don't want to listen to the news. It's like, oh no, that kills my vibe. Nah, I don't want to hear no bad news. I don't want to hear no negativity.
FOMO. He been hitting the world with FOMO going all the way back to the garden.
Right.
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
You ain't missing out on shit. This devil trying to fucking rob you of your opportunity of salvation. Starve your ass out. And you're going to go back and forth with the prophets like we the problem.
Right. Hey, am I become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Exactly.
But we can go back to the article though, unless that was it on that.
Go ahead, you got something?
No, that was it.
It's a little bit more in this article. It reads, data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta shows wage growth for the lowest quartile income Americans has fallen to its lowest in about a decade, while wage growth for the highest income Americans is growing the fastest of any income group. This makes me think about James the 5th chapter, right?
Mm.
The riches of these wealthy people, but also Haggai 1:6, right? Because we know that the majority of the people that are going to fall in these lower income Americans consist of the tribes, right? Your riches that are in that bag, that hole is just getting bigger and bigger. You're not getting as much money as you once did because of the purchasing power. Like I was talking with somebody reading this book, the annual inflation rate is 3%. So what they do is you'll get a merit increase of typically 3%.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally staying on par with where inflation is, but we're not factoring in hyperinflation. We're not factoring in tariffs. We're not factoring all of these things that play a role into the fact that your dollar doesn't have the same purchasing power any longer.
Right.
Nor are there opportunities to actually get a bigger bag.
Right.
So it's like people are just falling behind the line. Meanwhile, these people that are at the top are just making even more money.
Right. Like, I want to add to your point because we understand, back during our fathers or grandfathers' time period, they would say, save some money up, put some money, save it for a rainy day, all this and that. But now you try to save up money, you try to save up money for 2 or 3 years, that money is going to be worth less than what originally it was worth. So you stacking up money and saving up money, you're really it's almost like you're paying on interest just for saving money.
Exactly.
Based on how the economy is going, you said 3% interest rate every year.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that means next year, if you save $100, next year your money's going to be worth $97.
$7. Matter of fact, can I actually pull out an excerpt right fast? Just to provide
You got it.
some clarity. Hold on, you was gonna say something?
I was just going to add to that point. Like the brother said, the way the money system is set up right now is going back to the fear mongering. They're putting people in the mindset of I need to save, right? But people are putting their money into these regular savings accounts and things of that nature, right? And even if you put it into a high yield savings account, right, the most you're going to get is about 5%. So you're really not, that money isn't going to, have the same value as it would, the way, we see the economy going, the interest rates are, subject to fluctuate, man.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this new presidency, Donald Trump can just say something, man, and the economy just takes a hit.
That should be going crazy, bro.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
everything is volatile right now.
Very volatile. Real quick, this is the book that I was referencing, The Wealth Solution, and this is an excerpt from chapter 2 of Inflation's Impact. It says, rising prices can decimate your savings and your ability to preserve wealth throughout your golden years. Assuming long-term historical annual inflation rate of around 3%, an annual fixed income of $100,000 will be worth just $86,000 in 5 years, and only about $40,000 in 30 years. A new car that costs $25,000 today will soar to more than $60,000 in 30 years. And if inflation runs at a much higher rate than normal for an extended period, a real concern given the huge amount of government spending that has occurred in recent years, the goal of wealth preservation throughout retirement could become even tougher to achieve. And that's what we're seeing, right? With this K-shaped economy, there's no connection any longer between those that have and those that don't. It's completely, those that have are up here, those that have not are all the way at the bottom, and there's no opportunity to recover.
Mm-hmm. And if I may add to your point, you even have like a month ago, you had the Federal Reserve start the printing presses back. So they're starting to print money back. What was that, Slucky?
Yeah, they cut the interest rates.
But I believe aren't they like printing back money again? Like making more money?
It's like digitally. Like they're flooding they're buying up different bonds and things of that nature that aren't being bought by other countries. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
artificially, stabilizing the dollar.
Oh, okay. Kind of.
Because they just came out with these 50-year fixed mortgages, for
Right.
people
Crazy.
whose credit doesn't meet the standards. But nobody is going to buy the bonds that those mortgages are backed by, man. So it's going to be another Federal Reserve, bailout in order to maintain the housing system.
Mm-hmm. But that just shows you, man, the economy is through, man. They over here doing all these different things, 50-year mortgage rates and shit like that, just to provide opportunity for people. But who the fuck is gonna pay 50 years on a house, man? Like you're gonna be dead before you even get to enjoy or finish off your payment on your house. The average lifespan is like what, 70 years.
Right.
By the time you graduate school, you gotta go ahead and hurry up and have enough money to put a down payment. Or even if you don't have down payment, they said I think you don't need a down payment, I think, for this 50-year or even a good credit score. But just imagine that, man. And then I seen a video on it saying that like a $80,000 or $100,000 house is worth like almost like double with that 50-year mortgage or double. So shit's through, man. America's done. Ain't nobody, like I said, the American dream is over. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it was. It was all a dream. What the scripture say, on dreams. Let me get it real quick. Bear with me. Salaki, if a brother have anything, y'all can go ahead. I'm gonna find this.
I got you real quick here. This is Isaiah 19, and I'll start in verse 12. So let's get to it. It's Isaiah 19 and verse 12. Actually, I'll start in 7. The paper reads by the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Now, when you read this in the NLT, it speaks on how the people are going to be in a state of despair, man. Right, as the brother had made mention. Right, everybody who's working out here is in desperation mode, man. Right, nobody is what's the word? In a position of comfort, man. Right, even those who make money, hand over fist because they're trying to keep up with a certain lifestyle, they're still struggling, man. Right. So like you may mention, $100,000 is 80,000 at this point, 60,000. So it's the same thing that these jobs, right, that have this immense amount of turnover. It has the people in the mind frame of languishing, man, right, in a constant state of wondering where they're gonna get their next dollar from.
So I got this this precept. This is Sirach 3 and verse 2. It says, "Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth a shadow and followeth after the wind." And that's essentially these people, man, that are following that still believe in the American dream. There is no American dream. You know what I'm saying? It was all just a rat race. It was just all a big hamster wheel to keep you going in this endless chase. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read this back. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catches a shadow and follows after a wind. So there's no end to this thing, right? Like I mentioned, the hamster wheel. Hamster wheel just keeps going in circles and circles and circles. That's how majority of the people are in. Majority of Jakes are in this hamster wheel and this mindset of just going in circles, repeated. But now we're seeing that hamster wheel is not as I guess you could say as enticing as it was before, because now people are starting to see that, hey, the American dream is dead. This shit don't work. I'm not seeing no results.
Right. It's the mindset of previous generations that were told to buy into the dream. They were able to reap a little bit of benefits here and there. But now it's this new generation that's just being told buy into the dream while being fucked over. And they're like, wait, hold up. Why am I not able to afford to get a home? Why is it that I'm not affording the ability to have a wife or children? You know what I'm saying? Like the quote unquote American dream.
Right.
White picket fence. I can't even afford to do any of that shit. But this is all the dream that's just turning into a nightmare. These people, they can't buy in because there's nothing to buy into, and this is where this crisis of confidence is occurring.
Mm-hmm. I got one for you. This is Proverbs 23:5. Without set thine eyes upon that which is not. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
Right.
So the previous opportunities. Oh, Slaki, go ahead, bro. You got it.
No, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say the previous opportunities that were once there or shown in your face to be, a form of escape, for financial freedom or generational wealth, all that shit is being taken away now. You know what I'm saying? For a time, I believe it was like the 2020s, 2021. Esau was letting Jake pretty much get the bag, man. Go and get money, invest in this, invest in crypto, trading, all this and that. But now we're seeing Esau just he let you have it just to quiet you down. But now he's pulling the rug on everybody now. Now nobody's gonna get a chance to be able to be financially free.
Yep.
Which that's the goal for most people, man. You know what I'm saying? People trying to get, money, trying to be financially free, trying to escape this debt slavery. But Esau is really just making it worse and worse on people because we understand where we're headed. This economy has to crash for the new system to be implemented so that everybody can be a serf. Everybody can be a slave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's why when you read the verse up, it says, labor not to be rich.
Right.
The riches of this place are temporal, man. Right? You can only get so far, even in the fact that they're only going to let you up so far, man. They call it a glass ceiling for a reason. Right? They're going to allow you to see, what's up there at the top, but you have no real means of accomplishing it, man. The way capitalism is set up now is they present you with a dream, as the brother made mention of, right? That isn't actually possible, man. Your dream is funding somebody else's enterprise, man.
Right. Yeah, it's as if they show you a ladder and then they climb up it and then they pull the ladder up and leave you down there, man.
Exactly.
That's essentially what's happening. Everybody's getting left behind.
Yep.
But we can go back to the article unless brother has something.
Yeah, real quick. Proverbs 22:7, it says in the NLT, just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender. Going back to Ecclesiastes 7:12, and as the brother Yeshaya had read, and Proverbs, I believe it was 23 and 25, correct?
Yeah, 23, 25. I mean, 23 and 5.
23 and 5, Kantuala. The riches that are leaving the people is their defense. These people are in a position where they're defenseless and they have nothing. So they're going to have to go into a mindset of being a borrower. They're going to make themselves slaves in this system. That is what we're seeing happen, is the structure of this enslavement. This digital enslavement is happening before the masses of the people. These people thought we were joking when we were telling them Klaus Schwab and the WEF were saying that you were going to own nothing and be happy. They thought we were joking. They thought that the prophets of Yahweh Bashem al-Shai were just out on the highways and hedges playing games. No, you all play games. You fortified yourself in this hegemony, and now it's being stripped from you. Meanwhile, we're rejoicing at this taking place because we still have our defense. Our defense comes from Yahweh Bashem al-Shai. We have the wisdom.
The scripture talks about that in the last days, the remnant shall no longer lean upon them that smote them. You know what I'm saying? So we're no longer relying upon this system to aid us, to help us, to protect us. Now we wholly trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? Now, of course, we do got to work, we do got to go, and pay our bills and all this and that. But we ain't really depending on this thing to be our form of salvation. We ain't like, oh, we got to invest some money, we got to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, we got to get this and that. No, man, we're our mindset is focused on the kingdom, man, and we understand that's going to grant us peace within ourselves in this falling economy where there is going to be no peace, right? Like we mentioned, things are going to get bad out here, man. Scriptures talk about it a time like no other. So in that time of distress, in that time of fear, we're going to be sound like just like the scripture Yahweh said, right? Those that built their house upon a rock, right? The waves blew. I mean, the wind blew. The waves beat that foundation, but it was stable. We're seeing the rest of the people that built their house upon that sand, right? We're seeing that foundation crumble right now, man. Everybody is crumbling, and it's just going to intensify and get worse and worse. And we got this article right here, right? It says U.S. worker anxiety expected to rise in the forever layoffs era. And I want to get this real quick, because I didn't understand what that meant, right? Forever layoffs. So I looked it up. It says the term forever layoffs describes a recent workplace trend where companies replace large, infrequent job cuts with a pattern of smaller, more regular or rolling layoffs, which are permanent in nature.
Yeah, man.
You want to speak on it?
Yeah, and as it speaks about the anxiety that's going to rise in the workforce, and it also, as morale is worsening, you're going to see an output, an ability for companies to really leverage work output, right? With the constant fear of, well, I don't know if I'm going to be a part of the next wave of layoffs. Let me make sure I'm on top of my work. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be overtaken by AI. Let me make sure I'm on top of my work. You should always be on top of your work, right? But Esau, knowing who he is, he's going to weaponize this as a means to further his control. Fear mongering is how this devil is gaining control of the masses. If these people really were smart and they really tapped into the covering, and I'm speaking to 2/3, if these people would really tap into Yahweh Chanel Shai, problems will be solved like that.
Right.
Like, just when you could, like the scriptures say, why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing? The depths of this devil, the fear mongering that he's conducting on the masses of the people is strategic. And it's in the way how it's taking place is literally casting people to, oh, please, Lord, please, Lord, whatever you need from me. That's where these niggas' minds is going, bro.
Yeah. Shit, you see it on TikTok. People complaining, crying because they can't make payments on their house, their rent. And that's the main important thing, rent, but also food.
Yep.
If you can't pay for food, there's a saying, I forgot who said it. I think it was Henry Kissinger. But he said, if you control the food, you control the people, man. Right? They already have control of the food. They have control of the money. So all they got to do is restrict y'all from having access to this food. And now you're going to start seeing mass fear, mass chaos, riots, uproars. Shit is going to get crazy, man. So they know exactly what they're doing. And like you said, just going back to this layoff thing, or this how companies are laying people off, them being able to leverage, the desire that they need for work output, is really going to start having a lot of jakes out here, tapping into AI, restructuring the resume, figuring out things to try to get a job, but also Eve is going to have to change her attitude up, man. Because, like you mentioned, AI is replacing a lot of these jobs. A lot of these jobs, pretty much. I wrote it down right here, but it's a lot of these jobs a lot of AI is taking away consumer services, telemarketers, cashiers, teachers, graphic designers, delivery drivers, and manufacturing. Right? So that's a lot of fucking jobs, man. And a lot of the AI right now, as we're seeing, is taking up a lot of these jobs that Eve used to be in. So now Eve's gonna have to check her attitude, man.
Yep.
But even Jake as well. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be a lot of people out here that's gonna be struggling. You know, this is why as I've been seeing, a lot of scamming has been on the uprise because people are just having to resort to that because there's no other way for them to get a job. Or people don't really want to get a job. That's another thing too. You know, these Gen Zers, they don't want to get a job. They don't want to work a 9 to 5. As I mentioned earlier, they don't see no hope in it. They don't see no true outcome or no end goal to it.
Right. We went from the youth, saying that they wanted to be a lawyer, a doctor. As soon as a bitch turned 18, she on OnlyFans. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Shit,
Hold on, if you ask something?
Comment real quick. This is Isaiah 2 and verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. So what we're seeing right now is the pride is beginning to be shattered of these people, man. Right? The proud to be an American, that's long gone. Right? We see the mind frame of people to where, they once thought of themselves highly. They're being completely, beaten to submission, man. Right? Now Esau is being allowed to thrive and prosper off of that, but it's gonna come a time where he's gonna be beaten to submission too, man. Right? Because it's all the will of the Lord. Right? He's allowing Esau to beat the people to the ground so that he can ultimately beat him down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We can go back to the article though.
God. Jumping into the article, it reads, key points, U.S. job cuts surged in 2025 with October seeing 1.1 million layoffs. The forever layoff trend replaces large and frequent cuts with regular smaller layoffs. Job creation hit its lowest level since 2011, worker anxiety and morale worsening. The fourth quarter is traditionally a calm time for the employees, but 2025 has been different in many ways. Employers used to refrain from cutting jobs during the holiday quarter, but October proved to be a bloodbath. Quote from Andy Challenger, over the last decade, companies have shed away from announcing layoffs in the fourth quarter, so it's surprising to see so many in October. With the onset of social media and the ability for workers to share their negative experience with their employers, the trend of announcing layoffs before the holidays fell away, a practice that seemed particularly cruel.
Yeah, because everybody's looking forward to Thanksgiving, looking forward to spending time with the loved ones, and Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's, right? But now, I mean, even last year, you saw, people were struggling with buying gifts and shit. Well, how much more now?
Right.
Shit's getting worse and worse, and this is why they say it's particularly cruel because apparently, based on, just because of the holidays, this is the time for, families to get together and all this and that. But now families ain't gonna get together, man. Now you're gonna have to work that second shift on Christmas Day. Now you're gonna have to work your secondary job, your part-time job. You're gonna have to put in more overtime, man, just to be able to buy a gift for your child or whatever, man.
Yep. It goes on to read, and I'm just gonna flip through. It says, according to Challenger, 2025 has been the worst year for job cuts since employers cut 2.3 million in 2020. Now, this is one thing I wanted to point out. The parallels between 2020 and 2025, that was a global demic. So that right there factored in as to why there wasn't a lot of job opportunities. There was a lot of job cuts and things of that nature. So when you parallel 2025, if you can make an analysis in the spirit, we're about to see an event take place. We are going to, it may seem like things is hunky-dory because shit ain't shut down like how it was at that point. But when you're assessing the data and you're looking at the tension, the the stage is set for an event to take place. As we read on in the article, it says the layoff issues is multifaceted. In a new study from the job review service, Glassdoor predicts a new normal that could place employees in an extremely stressful situation. 2026 will be the year the forever layoff sets in. Amazon, UPS, Target, three of the largest employers in the country have already announced plans to lay off tens of thousands of workers in the coming weeks. This week, it was also revealed that telecom giant Verizon is laying off 15% of its 100,000 strong workforce. That is 15,000 people. It says major layoffs announced in the past month. Target, Amazon, UPS. However, while the big corporations grab the headlines, small layoffs have become the most common type, and Glassdoor says that the trend is expected to stoke worker anxiety as it continues into 2026. Layoffs of fewer than 50 individuals account for just 38% of layoffs in 2015. By this year, the rate increased to 51%. There's just another thing too. You know, brothers and sisters that's on your job, make sure you on top of your shit, man. Don't get these people in to try and we're just smiling and laughing in front of you, just as though they aren't taking heed to metrics and things of that nature. Clock in, clock out. You know, like Elder Yashawamba was speaking about the new system that Microsoft is preparing to unveil. That pretty much when you connect to the your site's Wi-Fi, they're going to be able to, you know, figure out what it is that you're listening to, what videos you're watching, things like that. So we have to be circumspect in these times. Don't give these devils an in. You know.
No, yeah, because with this, you know, this is going to bring forth a lot of also is going to bring forth a lot of micromanaging. You know, a lot of checking your time. You know, and these Edomites, you know, they already hate Jake. They're already frustrated at Jake, so they're going to start keeping a close watch on you, taking, you know, finding anything to nitpick, so that way they can get you out of there, man. So like the brother mentioned, yeah, be on your P's and Q's, man, at work, because man, it's gonna be hard to find another job. All these people laying people off, where you gonna find another job at? And if you do find another job, it's gonna be something that you ain't gonna like, right? Because obviously that job position is open for a reason. What you got it, Doc?
Yep. Jumping down a little bit more into this article, it reads that the Glassdoor reviews provide another view into the forever layoff. Layoffs are on reviewers' minds and they are feeling less secure in their jobs. We tracked mention of layoffs and job insecurity in Glassdoor reviews. Both spiked during the pandemic, but the rates in late 2025 were already higher than they were in March of 2020. So that right there they're telling you without telling you. A global pandemic that shut down the world. The rates of job insecurity and layoffs are higher in a time when everything's supposed to be hunky-dory. Everything is supposed to be peaches and cream. You go on that nigga Trump, you listen to that nigga Trump, he like, for every fucking article he's speaking with somebody, everything is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're doing big numbers, big numbers, big numbers. That nigga don't be knowing what the fuck he got going on. It's that K-shape. He got that K-shaped mentality. He ain't work. When that nigga talking about the economy doing well, he ain't talking about the fucking average everyday person. He talking about the nigga at the top of the K.
Yep. That's right.
That was pretty much the article.
Okay. No, I was gonna say, you know, because a lot of these voters, you know, that voted for Donald Trump, you know, they expected Donald Trump to be a man of the people, but now we're starting to see that this man, he works for the top elite. You know what I'm saying? He's there to line his pockets, to line his technocrats' pockets, man. He ain't there to help you average day peons, man. Right?
Yep.
So and we're seeing Esau's getting closer and closer to his end, We're gonna start seeing more and more of him. As the scripture says, the Egyptian help shall be in. No, the Egyptians' strength is to sit still, right? So all these arguments and uproars, this man ain't gonna acknowledge all that. This man is building a damn bunker under the White House to hide from all that shit.
Right.
Yo, that nigga's crazy, yo.
It's that self-preservation, man.
Exactly.
Yep.
Shit, we can get Baba Shah. I really can get that Ecclesiastes 12:3.
It's Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and all the strong men shall bow themselves.
So it says the keepers of the house, the economists, right? This is pretty much where we're getting our information from, right? They're talking about layoffs. They're talking about the economy, the inflation rate. They're talking about a recession. They're talking about all these things that's leading to, that's going to affect a lot of you Americans, right? And that anxiety is building up because these economists are projecting a bad future for America, especially for the low class Americans, man.
Right.
But you can go ahead.
And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. And those that look out the windows be darkened.
Right, and the grinders cease because there are few, because there ain't gonna be no jobs out here. Most of the jobs, as we're seeing, Esau is trying to automate. You know what I'm saying? Make everything autonomous. By using AI, by using robots. So a lot of these jobs were already being eliminated based off robots and AI, and even more so with the improvement of AI, the advancements of technology, even more so. You know what I'm saying? So I watched a video actually talking about how AI is going to eliminate, like, I don't even know how many sectors of jobs, man. Many people are going to be replaced to where I think it said like 98 million people are going to be replaced by 2030 because of AI. So where are these people going to go?
That's why they're pushing the what is it?
UBI.
UBI, the Universal Basic Incomes, man. That's why clamoring for this so-called $2,000 that Trump is gonna give, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you remember the last time he gave out some money, we were in the middle of a global pandemic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, like the brother said, it's just all these signs showing right that history is repeating itself, man.
Right. And it's funny too because even in Rome, they gave out certain help for the poor because the poor were getting so anxious. I can't remember exactly the term for it. I'll try to find it. But the same thing that happened in Rome is happening now. It's my point. You know what I'm saying? But now we're seeing that the doors are really closing out. Doors are being shut. And it's all to gradually bring people into the mindset of a new form of currency to bring everybody into accepting what is coming. You know what I'm saying? Because right now people ain't really going to accept a device implanted into the skin. You know what I'm saying? It really is going to have to take something drastic to make people believe that this is the only way to go back to a sense of normalcy.
Right.
Just like the jab, right? You gonna take it, we ain't going back to normalcy. Right? And we've seen people line up to go take it. They didn't care what was in the jump shot. They didn't care, what it will do, the side effects 5 years from now. Here it is. They came out with that thing rapidly. I don't know how many months it took them. It was like 6 months or something like that to develop that damn jab, and all of a sudden people just lining up to go take it.
Yeah. No, that's powerful that you say that, bro, because the same way how people were polarized with that psyops for the jab, we're now seeing that polarization transfer from health, physical well-being, physical wellness to financial wellness.
Yep.
So now these people are going to start being polarized and psyops and They're going to try to start fighting to get access to something to help their financial wellness. Like the brother that made mention of UBI, right? And there's going to be stages to creating a catalyst that allows for the introduction of the mark of the beast. The writing's on the wall, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're coming into that time. We're seeing that. We're literally seeing the shift in this man's system.
Yeah, there's really no denying it now at this point. I mean, it's in your face. They're telling you. They told you multiple times in your face what they plan to do. So it's just it shows you how much of like how the Most High is really blinded these people. They really do have a veil over their head, over their eyes to be able to see that this man is the devil, and that this system that he's going to implement is that beast system talked about in the scriptures, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, we understand, that the Most High has destined people in their lots, but it's even then, man, it's still mind blowing how bad these people are as far as not being able to know what time it is.
Right. Because they're invested in Esau's continuation, man. Right.
Right.
The Second Thessalonians, where it talks about how he's gonna use everything in his power to deceive the people, man. Right? They've been fully deceived. Right, their eyes have been fully shut, right, to the truth and fully open and receptive to what Esau is offering, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll keep going on that. Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, Baba Kushar. We done the 4.
Okay. Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low.
Right, and that's what we're seeing, right? It says all the doors it says, and the doors shall be shut in the street. That's what we're seeing. Everybody, or well, not everybody, but a lot of these companies. But I believe it mentioned in the article that even smaller companies, are also laying off people. So those are things that's going unreported. You know what I'm saying? So you see the major ones closing doors, but now we're seeing even smaller companies closing the doors. Yeah, you have on Instagram or on TikTok, you have videos of showing of companies like stores, like retail stores, closing up shop. So that just shows you, doors are closing, man. Everything is closing. America is about to be shut down again here soon.
When you read this NLT, it says, remember him before the door to life's opportunities is closed and the sound of work fades. Right? So the opportunities are gone, man. Right? You either at this point, you either are a glorified, well, we're all glorified servants at the end of the day, right? But you're either in the position of, the warehouse workers, or you're an accountant or things of that nature, man. Right? Just keeping track of numbers. At this point in time, there's no room to develop your own enterprise, man. Right? They've worked out the middle class. They've starved out any type of small business owners through places like Walmart, Amazon, all these big box retailers. Right? They are all designed to overtake the small businesses and then allow them to form pseudo monopolies, right, in the areas, man. Right? So now everybody is subject to those same jobs now, man.
Yeah, and with job cuts, that means there's going to be no room for growth. There's going to be no room for elevation, man. Right? You talked about that glass ceiling. Well, now that glass ceiling is going to be even more evident. There's going to be no room for advancements. No, even if you get a degree, Bubble Shop, if you mind bringing up that article of the college graduates, it's going to be hard for them to even find a job as well.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So you trying to find an avenue for improvement or for advancement by getting a degree, it really is going to backfire because there's no jobs for you to be placed after you get your degree.
Exactly. Yeah. The way of the way how to chase the dream is just changing.
Mhm.
These institutions were once seen as a means to liberate people, to allow for an even chance for you to, climb to the top. It's not the case.
Mhm.
Days is done.
Uh,
This article is from Wall Street Journal. Um, Reads companies predict 2026. So, like, go ahead.
so like I was gonna say, we don't gotta read it all. We just read the title and we just move on from there.
Okay. It reads companies predict 2026 will be the worst college grad job market in 5 years. Hires from the class of 2026 will stay largely flat. Employers project as layoffs rise and AI is able to do more entry level tasks.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much AI, if you graduated and anything that AI is going to replace, you're through. You don't put yourself in a position of debt, and now you're done. Now you got to pay that debt and work a job at McDonald's if AI hasn't taken it over yet.
Yep.
And even if you get these high jobs, like I mentioned, you ain't going to be able to find a job by 2030. But what does it say? 2026, it says it will be the worst year, the worst. Well, since companies predict 2026 will be the worst college grad job market in 5 years. So it's through, man. This shit's done. This shit's over with, man. There's no they talk about how the youth is how do you say in the world, the youth is the future or something like that.
Yep.
New generations is the future. That's not the case no more.
Mm-hmm.
The new generation is through.
Right. And remember, they was pushing what's it called? Learn coding and learn, all these different computer systems for years.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that knowing that AI was coming down the pipeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by the time the generations that were pushed into these computer-based fields get to, adult age, their ability is worked out, man. Right? They're ready to be replaced. And then pretty much the generations behind them just follow in suit as as online slaves, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Had their TikTok dancing to death.
What should bros have anything? Any precepts you want to bring out?
I got this here. Back in Isaiah 19. It's Isaiah 19 and 14. It reads, "The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and hath caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit." Right? So these people worked to a system that, wasn't going to suffice them, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That there was no benefit, for you to try to climb the ranks. And now we're seeing the results of that, man. Right? Them perfecting slavery by means of, starving you out and forcing you into a position of either, bowing the knee or you're cast away in society, man. Right? Verse 15, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Right? So that branch or rush being, people who are in high esteem, right? Your celebrities, right? Your governors and people who are making, decent money, right? They're going to be struggling as well, So that branch is struggling, and the rush, those who are on the lowly, man, right? Everybody's going to be in a position to where they have to run to Egypt for help, man. But it's going to be to their shame and confusion, as the scripture said.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Hey, well, that's pretty much all I had. If bros had anything else, fine. So hey, that's pretty much where it is, man. That's pretty much where America's at, and we see where America's headed, man. So that's Micah 2:10, man. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, man. Right? This place is done. America's closed for shop. America's closing, so get out while you still can. Not physically, but spiritually, right? So with that, we're gonna go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word by the four corners of the earth. in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
Yashala.
Kum Yashala.